Hey guys. All right. Give me a second while I go live into our group. Oh, such an amazing night. We are going to have a very successful coach who actually lives in Florida and is a friend of mine who I actually met at, not only did I meet her online, but I actually met her at an integrative nutrition meetup. They had a conference here, so I was able to meet her face to face. So bear with me, Niche Success Series. I'm sorry, bear with me, guys. My name is Rachel Feldman, and I'm so excited to be able to do these because I think so often we feel that we can't have success or we don't know how to accomplish it, and we're like, somebody just show me the path. So I am extremely excited to bring on a coach. Her name is Jessica Royston. She is a partner in crime. She is a good friend, but she's also a person that is out there doing it. So let me just say that she is going to really break it down on how she does free and paid workshops. And we're gonna just go hardcore on how you can do this. Easy peasy. So if you're like freaking out and you don't even know how to do this, it's totally possible. And so, oh, let me get my glasses back on. Just make sure I can get Jessica and see her. So just give me a second because we're going to go live into our free group. So if you are actually seeing this on YouTube or anywhere and you were like, what free group? Just go onto Facebook and go onto our group, How to Niche Your Health Coach Biz, your health coach entrepreneur biz, online and offline. We are live officially, guys. So I am going to just get out of here and make sure that I see everyone. Hey guys. All right, so give me just a second. As you can see, I'm super excited tonight because like I said, she is a bestie. She is awesome, but she is also out there doing it. So without me saying anything more, let me bring on Jessica. Hey there, Jess. All right, guys, this is Jessica. I am just going to let Jessica take just a second to introduce herself. I always love Jess because I swear this is the second time that I've interviewed you. I love that you always are like in your kids' room, right? Wait, hold on. Let me say, I can't hear you. Just make sure because I always want. Yeah, totally can.
Okay, awesome. Yes, right. Office / playroom / second grade paintings. I mean, it's real life. That's what we do.
Well, wait, and that's the thing that I want everyone to understand because I'm even when I started this tonight, I was like, oh, wait, I don't have a Diva ring light. Like my babysitter's in the other room because it's date night tonight. And then I realized like, but that's the whole point. Like, let go of perfection. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have a Diva ring light and you don't have to make it. And then like, here you are. Not that I'm not saying your kid's room isn't adorable and perfect, but you don't have to.
There's a mess on the floor back there, Legos and all kinds. I mean, come on.
Right, like it doesn't have to be this all like, hi, you're meeting me in my perfect, like, it's okay, guys. Step back. Why don't we just say like, let go of perfection. It's gonna be okay.
No one is perfect.
Right.
Like, your room looks perfect, you're not, so it doesn't matter.
Let's focus on making money and changing lives instead of like the perfection of our perfect office, which maybe, amen. Oh my God, I love you. Hug.
I know.
You're giving me cheek hurts right now. Okay, so if everyone can say, Candace is already saying it, if everyone can just say in the chat box, wherever you are, let go of perfection, just say it. Say, let go of perfection. Thank you. Okay, so We are going to just jam like fast, and we're going to even bring on a few people for everyone saying, let go, let go. Everyone's even said F perfection, which they know I am like a truck driver. So, I wanted to bring you on because I always say that I never want to say like you remind me of myself, but I struggled in the beginning comparing myself to everyone. Like they have the perfect website, they have they have like the team, they have like the perfect copy, which for anyone who doesn't know copy, that is the words that are on their website. And I just compared myself, and that held me back in the beginning. Like, should I say this? Is this right? Is this, is this that? And I stopped myself definitely in that first year because I made 13,000. That second year I doubled it. But I know that if I would have stopped and not questioned myself, I could have gone so much further. So I wanted you to just introduce yourself and tell everyone who you are, what you're about, who are the people that you serve. Just even start there.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm so happy to be on, Rachel. Thank you again for having me. I just love being in your presence. It's amazing. So yeah, I am originally from Jersey. I'm a Jersey girl. Now down in Florida, freezing today in 40-degree weather. Can't handle it.
As we sit in our tank tops.
I know, like everyone up north is like, I called my husband in Tennessee. I'm like, it's 40. He's like, it's 10. Just stop. But our blood does thin out. I think that's a true thing. So, yeah, I am a health coach. I graduated from IIN in 2011 when I was 9 months pregnant with my first son. And that first summer, I worked my butt off like we all do. I worked at a gym. I was getting clients. And I moved down to Florida, and I became friends with a functional medicine doctor. And I was kind of telling her about health coaching and what I do and who my clients are and what I try to do to help people. And she was like, you need to come work in my office. Like, people need you guys. And this was kind of before the whole, like, Mark Hyman and Chris Kresser wrote the book Unconventional Medicine, which all of you health coaches have to read because it really reiterates how needed we are in society today, and how needed our careers are, and really just gives you that confidence to go out. And this was before that. And she was just like, this sounds awesome. Like, I tell people all the time, I give them a diagnosis and then there's no follow-up. They come back to me 6 months later and nothing has changed. And if you can help people find their path, that's amazing. So that's where I currently work today. But I also do a lot on my own. So I don't actually work for her. I'm kind of like an independent. That's where I do my one-on-one clients, but I do a ton of Rachel's online programs. I have another, part-time gig with a gut brain access company. I love working with other coaches, and I love serving people that want to help themselves and help others. That's like, I kind of say, if I had to niche down, like, ladies are where it's at. I do work with men, but like, I love my mamas. I love getting moms to get themselves healthy so that they can pass it on to their family, because the husbands aren't going to eat healthy if their moms aren't serving up kale and smoothies, and the kids aren't going to do something that the mom. So we really are, I think, especially health wise, like the core of the family. So if I can get the women that are struggling themselves to feel better and then have that energy and that mental vigor to go out and help their family and serve others and spread the news to other people that, like, you can eat right and let go of the stress, that's like the ripple effect that I really got into this business for. So that's basically where I am now, and I'm loving every minute of it. I'm always running something online. I have a nutrition blog, Green Mama Tribe, that I'm writing once a week just to get through the muck of nutrition that's out there, and kind of trying to make it simple for people. So I really want simple solutions for my clients so that they can say, you know what, I can do this. Like, this is not that hard. I don't have to change everything. I can do this. And that's what we want to give, people the confidence to do, even the small changes along the way that add up to like huge lifestyle change.
And you and I were talking even like earlier today, because I was like, okay, I'm going to call you so I don't just like slam you with questions, which I
would have been fine with either way, but I get to talk to you. So
I think I slammed you last time anyway. And I just even said, like, let's even just talk about, and I wanted to even call you because I feel like there are a lot of coaches not making money. And
so many that I talk to.
Right. And even last time you and I had met, like face to face, you had even said to me, like, and I was like, oh my God, we're meeting. We're as short as each other. Okay, we're sisters, which I think was the biggest connection. You're like, oh my God, you're as short as me, which was just like instant connection. But we really talked about the fact that you had said to me, so many coaches said, you know, how are you making money? Like, I don't get this. What are you doing? And we had talked about how you and I both don't understand like what's actually wrong, because you and I both feel that it's so easy to make money. And so I wanted tonight to even dive in, and you and I could dive into like a 10-part series on how to even make money.
Yeah.
Like how to even make money. I'm going to take down my calculator even here. So we have this. How to one, build authority. So let's even start there. How to build authority, because I talk a lot about this word niche. I talk a lot about, you know, and we all know Marie Forleo. We hear this word avatar. We hear also words like, who are the group that you're meant to serve, or what are the issues that you had, and who, like, what are the pain points that these people have, or not these people, the people that you want to serve. But let's even simplify it more. Give everyone like this bird's eye view of how you decided, like, hey, my name is Jessica. This is what I'm going to come out and talk about. How did you do that so that you really can break it down for people in a really simple way?
Absolutely. So, you know, we all have our stories. I feel like we all have a reason why we even got into nutrition in the first place. And most of it's because we were not feeling well and we wanted to figure out what was going on. And we probably went through the same steps that all of our clients are going through, doctor to doctor, trying to figure it out. And then we decided to take our health into our own hands. So for me, it was a misdiagnosis of lactose intolerance that almost cost me my gallbladder. And I realized about 10 years ago, like, I was asking all these doctors, could it be my diet? And everyone was like, no. And so when I decided to become a health coach and go to IIN and go through the nutrition training, my passion came out, and I wanted to simplify things for people. And I wanted to help people become their own advocate. So there's a couple different ways that we can do that as health coaches. You know, one is obviously one-on-one clients, but that's not for everybody. And then group programs, I feel like that is such a way to get people to hold each other accountable and feel like they're not alone. So that's another way that I think is a huge, like, I just started putting that stuff out there. I made my nutrition blog kind of for a basis of, if someone had a question, instead of constantly giving everyone the same answer, be like, oh, look at this blog post that I posted. I just wrote about the benefits of coconut oil, and kind of gear them back so that they could see that there was, you know, some nutrition science back there, and workshops too. When we get people together in a room that are interested on a specific topic that either is affecting them or their loved ones, man, the energy in there, people get excited and they want to make change and they want to learn more. And like we were talking about on the phone today, Rach, that trickles down to so many other needs for the people. So I think for me,
so like more instead of, I mean, I just wanted, because I know everyone's even thinking this. So like, instead of you just sitting there and being like, this is my niche, it's gut, it's hormones, it's clean eating, which I still don't even think anyone knows about, like what that actually is. You actually were like, here's coconut oil, here's magnesium, so you actually picked out like these topics that you felt were like over talked about,
yes,
confused, and you as a mama, because it's Mama Green Tribe, you as a mama, and me, same thing. I was like, what do I do for my autoimmune? What do I do for my kids? And there was so much information that I extracted from everything into what I felt was right. And then I felt like I needed to scream from the mountaintops. Yeah. So you, instead of niching, you were like, I need to take this topic and really like speak this. Is that more what you did?
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw the needs of people around me. And a lot of it was just confusion. They were like, well, but this article on blah, blah, blah website said that coconut oil is going to give you heart disease. And then this one said that it's the best thing for every part of your body. So I kind of felt like we just needed to clear the air and teach that what we learned in school is bio-individuality, but let's get a basis where everyone can at least start. So clarity of information was a big thing. Letting people know that I had my own health struggles and that it's okay to talk about was huge for a lot of people, because they were like, oh, so you struggled with eating, being addicted to coffee, not really, being diet fad. When I worked in New York City, that's all I did was drink coffee and go on different diets. So revealing myself to people was like, yeah, of course I did that. Here's where I was, here's where I am, and here's the steps to get you there too. So it's like putting yourself in their shoes, like empathy.
So more to like recap, and I think this is where people are really confused, and I just want to like really clarify this for people, because this is where I feel like I made the biggest mistake in the beginning, is I kept saying, I'm a detox specialist, I'm a gut specialist. And this is what we're taught. And I really feel like this is where we fail, because we are taught to hone in and we are taught to specialize. But the problem is that people are not searching for that. People are searching for just like what you said, like, I'm having this problem.
Yeah.
I'm having this problem. I don't know, like, should I feed my kids this? Should they be gluten-free? Should I, like, my doctor just told me I'm lactose intolerant. So how did you figure out like what workshops to do from this, and to actually either figure out like, should they be free or should they be paid?
That's a great question. And I've done both. I tend to, if it's a topic that is very specific towards a group of people. For example, I did one about the myths of keto, because when keto first came out, everyone was like, they didn't know what the heck was going on. That was something that I did paid within the doctor's office, and I charged $20. Some of them were my clients already. Some were people that were patients. Others were people that I just got on Facebook. I hung signs up at the local juice shops and stuff. And that went really well, because people were coming there with a purpose and they wanted to find out the truth about it instead of just reading a book. So from that, I did get some clients, and I got some people that were either said like, oh, maybe keto is not for me, but my neighbor told me to do it. Maybe this really could help my family. And from that, that was more of a paid. So very specific ones I tend to do paid. Other broader topic,
20 to 35
around there. Yeah. I think the first keto one I did, it was about 20, about that. The other one that I did recently was just about anti-inflammatory foods in general. That one I did for free at a physical therapist office. That one I got about 35 people there. Did it for free, and people were really interested in the information. And that was more of like, they just didn't even know what they were coming for. They had never heard of specific diets. It was a general information. And people really asking questions like, what's gluten? Why do I have to avoid that? Like, so there's different, you kind of have a different group of people depending on how much research they've done. So that one I did for free. And, if you want me to tell you what happened from there now, or we can hold that to later, but that's kind of how I distinguish. It's really about need. And I think that if you know what your people need, and you kind of have a lot of people talking around a certain subject, if they're interested enough, set up a paid workshop. People are going to pay $20.
Do you find, this is what I found in my practice, and I think this is often where coaches are shocked, is that, one is I really had to, especially when I was a new coach and I didn't even know what people wanted, I had to look at what were my experiences, but also what were the main problems people had, like the mass problems. Because I love when you even said, do I need to be off gluten? I, as a coach, just made this assumption that people were off gluten.
Yeah. And so not true.
That people were off sugar. Because like Dr. Oz was talking about it, and the panel of the 5 doctors, I don't even know what that TV show was. And that's why I always say it's really important to know your avatar. What are people's favorite shows? What are they really doing? And that's why I always say, do your homework. Sit in Dunkin' Donuts for 5 hours. Sit in Starbucks. Where do you live? Are people going to Walmart, or are they going to Fresh Market? Where are people shopping? Like, know your buyers, kind of personality. Know they're also, are they buying organic? Can they afford it? Or do they buy at Costco, or do they buy it at Whole Foods? And also know if they're the person who can buy at Whole Foods, but they go, oh, eating gluten-free, that's ridiculous. And trust me, I can name people even in my own family. And it's not to say, it's just they're like, that's ridiculous. Like, you eat nothing, Rachel, because I eat. And so it's important to know people within that. And then those workshops and what you offer stem from that. And so in the beginning of, I'm sorry, I thought that I turned it off. In the beginning of my practice, I had to really take a step back because I felt really defeated. And I was doing these workshops that I thought everyone for only like $30, and 2 people were showing up, like a teleclass. But I wasn't nailing it because it was so super specific. And then I started to realize that I had to, even though detox and gut were my thing, I had to go a little more like broad. And I had to talk about like immune, because everyone was concerned about immune. And I had to talk about probiotics. And then the paid ones, I had to be like, well, I'm giving you 5 handouts, or I'm giving you a program, or we're doing a make and take on cultured foods that you can take home, or how to do this. And the ones that really they felt value, or a cooking workshop, was going to be $50. And the free ones were still really important to balance, because those were people who by the end were the ones, because I would talk about, well, these are the 5 detox methods and this is what I do. And at the end I would say, and if you want to talk to me at the end about working with me, because maybe you aren't pooping and your skin is a mess, and there's some things that you don't want to talk about, like your husband is drop itch, or you have toe fungus, or you have thrush on your tongue because it's covered white and you didn't want to really talk about it, or you have stuff down there that you are really embarrassed to talk about, or you get chronic urinary tract infections, just, stay after. Or I'm going to put my card under the 3 handouts that I left that we discussed. So that's a hint, guys, to don't just make your workshops and think that you can just be like, I'm going to talk about this. Give information, educate, inform, and then lead them to an open opportunity, because you're building trust. And those free workshops, as we were talking about, lead to one-on-one clients. And I always would bring, this, and I would say, here, sign up and let's do a 30-minute discovery session to just see where you are, because maybe you do need one-on-one. Maybe you are a great fit for a group. Not everyone's great fit for a one-on-one, which is why I love when we talk about groups, because some people just want community and they want to meet other like-minded moms, or people who are busy corporate, or are athletes, or people that you serve. Have you found similar experience?
Absolutely. And I love that you said too, at the end, I remember there was like half the group that were asking some questions and kind of getting into like, well, what exactly is bad about chronic inflammation? And they were like little nuggets here and there. And then there was another half the group that was silent. When I was packing up my stuff to go, taking down my projector, all that, those are the people that came up and said, I really do think that I have some candida. You were talking about that. I didn't realize what it was, but I think that's it. I think that maybe the spring detox you talked about that you did, I think I might need to do that next time you run it. So the people after, like you said, they don't say anything during the presentation, just because some people are private. They don't want to, unload. Those are the people that after, it just puts in their head like, hey, this is something that could be affecting you. Or they would come up to me and say, my mom's been feeling like this for a while. Do you think that you could do a discovery session with her? Absolutely. Do you think that that her and I could come in and just talk to you for a half hour? Absolutely. And they realized through that, I mean, some of them were like, I need to work with you for 12 weeks. I want to completely change everything. And it was just the fact of if you ask them a couple questions during the workshop and they begin reflecting, they realize that things that are going on inside them are not normal. They're things that are happening because there's a root cause it's not being taken care of. So I completely agree. It's when you do a broad topic like that and just give basic information out, like you and I always talk about, go back to the basics with business and with nutrition. Go back to the basics, and people are like, oh my goodness, I'm not drinking enough water. I am not eating enough vegetables. I had everyone raise their hand. I put an anti-inflammatory food pyramid and said, how many of you guys are literally getting 8 to 10 vegetables a day? There was like 2 people, and they were my friends. And they're like, you make me them. So, people are really, they need to be reminded of the simple stuff that we've kind of left behind in our modern lifestyle, and they don't know how to grocery shop.
And that's why, even I always tell new coaches, and this is why we say the basics, whether you're a new coach or you're a coach who's not making money or you're a coach that is like up leveling. I never, except for like when I taught at a few different places, there was a projector. I always just came in, I would put standard food diary, my business card, a flyer about a program that was happening, a flyer, a little thing with testimonials and a recipe card so nobody would ever throw it out. And one of the things that we would do in the middle, and I would say, stop, okay, everyone be honest, write in this food diary what you really ate. I want you to put the sweet and low if you put it in a coffee. I want you, and don't tell me you don't do dairy, because if you put the eeny, weeny, itsy bitsy, tiny thing of creamer in your coffee, put that down. If you ate the chewing gum, put it down. And everyone would have this aha moment. And they would say, I can't believe, I finished off my kids, Cheetos in the car, or I stress ate, when I was at work, when my boss got really angry with me, or I ate the donut, or I finished off, just this little piece, I was like grabbing it at an office, because we all know an office in corporate has the kitchen, or the bagel at the, downstairs. And so I always, as a coach, would inform and say, eating is not dogmatic. This isn't about a diet. For me, mine was a different journey because gut and autoimmune was my story. But weight loss and anything that you're dealing with is this layered, because we're in a layered mystery illness world. And so what I'm going to teach you is the daily detox. And so mine always led with, I have these different opportunities. You can do a do-it-yourself detox with me, or you can join me on X date, or you can work with me one-on-one. And this is what it looks like, because when you work with me, you're going to fire me, because I'm going to teach you everything that you need so that you don't feel disgusting after you eat this, so that you know the foods that you can eat, so that you have the energy, so you know what to give to your kiddos. And that's what I felt like my job as a coach. It wasn't to be like, here, take this, or here, never eat this again. Because what I know is I'm allergic to quinoa. And I was told that when I was 20, and I was like, wait, how do you say that word? What is that? I'm 43, guys, so I'm telling you my age. I've got no shame. At 20, I didn't even know what quinoa was. I never had eaten it. My kids, even through the power of muscle testing and 4 different tests, are intolerant to quinoa. And so that tells me that they don't do great with grains. And they are innately they don't love grains. But what I taught my clients was how to learn to listen to their body. And that's why I always had such a great closing rate, because I gave clients like, here are the 3 different ways.
Yep.
And you don't have to work with me a ton, because you're going to learn what to do. So my free workshops gave them that, and my paid ones were like, you're going to learn this. We're either going to cook together, we're going to do a fun shopping tour. So I always included a program, or we would do a house party somewhere at somebody's house with a cooking. We would do something, because at the end of that, I wanted them to always have value. I wanted them to walk away with either the best probiotics to take, a fun experience where they went home and they're like, oh my God, I feel community. because we know, it took me a long time to learn this with my health issues. God, we feel that community and we're like, whew, all my health issues are gone because we just feel, I'm not saying that you Shanti out with community health, parasites, it's a whole nother talk, but we do feel a sense of, wow, I feel faith. And I don't mean religion, I mean faith in somebody seeing us. And that to me is what a coach is about. They see us for our issues. So I do want to get into some logistics, and I don't want to, of course, keep you, but I want you guys to even think, so much of why I wanted Jessica to be here is her story is about like even buying the basic detox, which she bought with a 20%. So she bought it at like, it came out to be like 93 and change. Yeah. And it was her first detox. There was no list. And we all get like, oh, well, there must have been a list. There must have been this. And what Jessica, though, had done, and this is what I want you guys hear about how she chose who she worked with. She shared her story. And I don't want you to just think you share your story and you're like, you share like your Debbie Downer story. Like, this is what happened. My kid pooped, or, my stomach hurt. You share like, this is what happened. This is what I did. It's an everyday thing. It's a typical social media post, or it's a newsletter, or it's even a pitch to a doctor, a chiropractor. We all did that. You typically don't see that on social media because you only hear, she signed up. She got 500 people. She's my star client. You don't see what I did or what Jessica did or what many other people, where I went to every different place and pitched to them. This was my story. I had adrenal issues. I had gut issues. And it doesn't mean I was in every niche. My brand is my niche. Yep. I had adrenal issues. I had stage 3 that I was diagnosed. I think I had every different thing. Doesn't mean I niched and I talk constantly about parasites. I got issues. I was on my first detox at 18. I was on my first allergy, test. I worked with people and I realized that a more marketable niche was allergies because it was tangible. Coaching is not tangible. That's why you see a lot of functional medicine practitioners now, the rise of it, because it's tangible to get testing. That's tangible. Me being like, Jessica, do you want to hire me? I'm going to help your family get healthy and have well-being and find peace and be happy. That's not tangible. That's like, what? What? Yeah. It's like, I'm going to help you to stress less. So your gut, so you have more serotonin and your gut doesn't, have whatever. That's not tangible. It's tangible if I say, I'm going to help you to restore your gut health so you don't have food allergies and have skin issues. That's tangible. Yeah. Why Done For You programs and Done For You content works is programs are tangible. We all know, like, nobody needs the recipes per se or even the content, but it's tangible in conversions. A workshop is tangible. A handout is tangible. And for us as coaches, we're already feel cray-cray and crazy because we're building a business. Yeah. Like, our clients feel crazy coming out and getting diagnosed, which, raise your hand if you've been diagnosed with things that you don't even think are like real, like all of us. Well, I think you have RA. And you're like I was like, well, because I have a hive on my on my elbow. Yeah. What? Or, oh, well, maybe of lupus. Because what? Because why? Well, many of us have had that, not all. So when I say thinking about your business and thinking about things that are tangible, start thinking outside the box. It doesn't just have to be a one-on-one. Not everyone's the right fit for a one-on-one. Definitely. Not everyone needs to sit down and talk about what happened when they were 4. And it doesn't mean they're not authentic. It just means they're not the right archetype for that, or they're not the right avatar. Not everyone's right for a group. It overwhelms them, even if they're in face-to-face. Groups, when you do workshops, what's great is that if you do a cooking workshop, even at low cost, 25, and you have 10 people and you give them a program, that's $250. Say you do that 6 times a year, that's $1,500. If you think about free workshops and you have 10 people at a free workshop and you convert 5 people, or let's even say 3, a lower conversion of 3%, and you convert them to a price where you're at $75 a month times 3, that's 225, and you say that's 12, that's 2,700. So you want to think about these different streams of income. And for Jessica, you know, she has a network marketing company like many of you. So she also took the gut program and she used that as an entry point. So a lot of you always say, how do I do this? She used the gut program to bring people at a low price where she sold that for $97. Her goal was not to, because you guys always say to me, what price should I sell it at? And I always say, price is relative.
Yep.
Her goal was not to sell and like crush it with a price. It was to get people to understand her goal is what? It's not just gut. Her brand message, get out of just niche. Her brand message is, I want to empower, you heard it in the beginning, I want to empower moms to know we are so over-knowledged.
Yeah.
I want to help moms to build their immune system. I want to help, you know, little kids to have like their good gut so they have good brain power and so they can really grow up. Like you can even just from hearing her, you can pull out her brand messages. Her brand messages defined, because I guarantee you her niche in another 5 years as her babies grow and as she evolves and gets older, it will change as well, because her hormones will change. Her life experiences will change. She will change. And so will what she offers changes.
So true. It's so true, because now I feel like the people that I connect with are people with little kids, because that's what I know.
Right.
Like, how do you get your kids to drink kale smoothies? I can extend that to someone because that's what I do on a daily basis. And you're right. When they're older and my hormones change and things, you're 100% right on that. I can see, but as long as we have what is in us and our passion and our fire stays to help people, then we help them through our stages and their stages. And I think that's what's so beautiful.
And your truth, because this is where, and guys, I will in full frickin', I won't say the F-bomb, in full transparency, this is what I've truly learned in this last few weeks, is that it isn't just the niche. This is confusing all of us, because what I built my business on and why people like Jessica and the people who are my moderators and the people who I always say, oh my God, I have to interview you, are the ones that like stepped over this and just said, I have to do this because like I was so confused. If you constantly say like, I worked with parent after parent who did early intervention with their kids, because guess what? I did that. And I talked about it. And I talked about food allergies for my kids and what I sent for lunches. And I got hired constantly for that. Yeah. And I went into schools and talked about food allergies. Yeah. And then I got constantly hired for everything that I talked about, because that's what drove me. And I was good at that because it's what I knew and I lived that. And if your story isn't what I call a story, and I hear this constantly, well, I didn't go through cancer. I didn't have ulcerative colitis like you, Rach. I didn't go through, you know, what Jessica, I don't have that. But you became a coach, and Jessica said this, you became a coach for some reason. There wasn't something that Jessica went through where she was like, well, I had this. She was like, well, there was so much information. I had to figure out what to do for my kids. I remember trying to figure out, like, what do I feed my kids? I read 25 books trying to figure out what to feed my children as the first food. You know, I mean, it was just overwhelmed. And what we as coaches do is we de-overwhelm and we connect the dots. And for those of you in this autoimmune-ish, there's a little more dot connecting you need to do. But what did Jessica say? Go back to this. Where is the world? They're at the, should I eat gluten? And for those of you who are not there, great. You probably have two different distinct. And you have to just test it out and do these workshops, do paid or do free, and Stop going, oh, what should I do? Just do it. Just do it.
And I love that, Rach, because you know what? I found too, whether it's a free workshop, paid workshop, online program, whatever I've done in the past couple of years, every single time you put your name out there and someone, even if they scroll past what you're offering at that time, I've overheard people in conversations say, oh, you know what? Jess did something like that. Go talk to her. On the car line, picking up my kids. Oh, I think Jess did one of those programs. Go talk to her. If you become the person in your local neighborhood and your online neighborhood where like you're the go-to person, you do not have to do everything. They know.
I don't even have to do anything because I became the mom, like, and then I'm going to get to a few questions and we're actually going to do a few hot seats. Guess what, Jessica? You're going to do a few hot seats with me.
Okay,
like,
got it.
The same thing. I went to my Montessori and was like, can I do workshops teaching the kids like about vegetables? Then I was asked, and my kids weren't even at the elementary school, which they go to now. Can you teach at the elementary? Can you teach the teachers? Because I was known as that woman who teaches. Who teaches these like healthy hacks. So somebody's saying, God, is my workshop. Guess what? Okay, we're gonna do speed dating talking on health. If I were to do gut workshop or gut niche, I would do immune health because everyone knows immune because everyone sees that on TV. What would you do?
I would do mental wellness and gut.
Okay, I would do probiotics because everyone sees it on cereal boxes.
Yes.
Last one, and then we'll go to the next.
I like this. This is good. Even a back to basics in that, because a back to basics workshop or a detox, that's going to get all the gut disruptors out. And then when you put them back in, your clients figure out themselves what doesn't make their gut feel good.
Wait. I got one more. I would also do every disruptor, like you said, and tie it into hormone. I'm not a hormone specialist, but I would say every disruptor that ties into screwing up your hormone health, your sleep, hair falling out, and then lead them into a program. Amen. All right. We're going to go on to the next. Boom. It says emotional eating. Oh my God. You are about to die because Jessica was just talking about this today and had so much passion. I could feel it. I could feel it coming down 30 minutes from me from North Palm.
Right down 95.
Right down 95. I was like,
Yep. And that ties in with, everyone's talking now about gut brain health. That's what it is, guys. It's emotional eating. Yeah. This is like people that are eating kale salads because they hear it's good, but like so stressed and depressed and anxious that it's not being absorbed correctly.
They're eating the kale salad, but really what are we doing? We're like eating the kale salad, the kids go to sleep, and then we're like eating French fries and like potato chips in the corner. Okay. So mine is emotional eating, but trying to figure out a niche to find my audience. Okay, so let's jam on this one. Let's actually go with the messages first. So it's emotional eating. So the woman who is emotional eating feels what? You want me to start?
I'm overwhelmed. You can start, but I'll say that in there.
Feels overwhelmed, feels like I need to be, I feel like I need to be perfect all day. I'm living on, this diet and I'm just so scared that no one's going to accept me.
Yeah. Feels like she's failing herself and her family. And because of that is stressed out, cortisol up, eating sugar.
Feels like I've been living on a diet like my whole life and I don't even know what to do because I feel like when I look at myself in the mirror, I don't even feel like, I want my husband to touch me.
Yeah. Feels like they'll never be where they want to be weight-wise because they've yo-yo dieted for so long and feels like nothing works. Feels like any program they try, nothing works. And
that's why we were talking about the emotional eating program that I wrote. And I was saying, when I wrote that, I cried the entire time because that was my first addiction. It was, was I going to be accepted? Was I going to be enough? Was I too much? Was it's all the fears, it's all the stress, and it's also not being able to express our feelings. So when I think to everything, like so often we hold on to a diet because we're like, and I'm not saying, guys, let me just say this, and and we talked about this earlier, like I had to do keto I had to do everything. Like I was detox to gut, raw, detox, gut, hormone, thyroid, adrenal, mindset. Like every program I wrote was the journey I took. And and keto was something that my acupuncturist has actually mentioned to me that really changed the game for me. Like Weston Price Paleo, and then like Terry Walls, who is one of my heroes, like really started talking about it, and that changed. But when I had this epiphany in this last year, I was like, I can't be anything. I have to stop defining like who I am. And because I was always this person that held on to like, well, I'm this, because I was an emotional eater, and because I was a person that really feared expressing myself. I'm a people pleaser. I had a tough time with boundaries, and I'm more than happy to share that openly, because tap on thyroid, throat chakra, because that was my biggest fear, to be accepted and to be loved. That's why when I wrote that program, it was saying, I'm letting go of this. I'm letting go of this like cape and this puppet master that I've held on to forever. So it doesn't mean that you don't take your client through the journey that they need to be, because for every client, for the Renfrew clients that I worked with, and for the emotional eaters, and for myself, I needed to be on that. So when your client says, well, I need the recipes, I met my clients where they were. I met my clients where they needed to be. And I didn't push them. Journey with your clients. But if you're with clients and you are doing emotional eating, like say, you can have different messages that say, I once was a dogmatic eater, or I once needed to hold on to a diet. And if you're ready to journey to a different place, like I'm here for you. So it isn't always about just the niche. It's about giving words to those that don't have the words. That is what a health coach is. My detox school, Dr. Moore said, coach is not about like just saying you need to take, L-carnitine, or you need to eat like this, you need to eat that. Like the next level of coaching is being a way shower. And that's why I think for so many of us, we're like, well, this, I have found this way of eating, and this is like the way to like, heaven. But that might be the way to heaven for us. But the true way to heaven for our clients is showing them the path of intuition for them. And I can't tell you how many people I turned from paleo to being vegan, or raw to being, because I would say, you're gray. Like this isn't working for you. Or plant-based to omnivore. And that's why so many of our programs are vegetarian and omnivore. And I say to a lot of coaches, you're speaking to clients and you're not making money because you're speaking to them where you are now. Go 30 years back, where you may have clients, or you may be working with the male or the female, but you're not honoring the fact that their family isn't there. And so I really want you, as you go into whatever when you're listening to this, or even where you are now, to not think of yourself, to really think of, I don't even want to start crying. I'm always like, don't cry, but to really think of where this world is, the spiritual sickness, the emotional, the metaphysical. And it doesn't mean that you have to believe in every area that I do, but like take what you want from this conversation and leave the rest. Okay, you and I could talk about this all, but I really want you guys to stop thinking just about the ClickFunnels, the marketing, because in the health and wellness brand, people are not just like the next email. They are human. Get them on the phone, get people on the phone, hear them, listen to what they need. People need to be heard. That is the biggest thing in the health and wellness industry. It's different in fitness. It's very common to see it like, here, buy this. But in health and wellness, we so often need to be heard. We need to be listened. And we also need somebody to help us navigate what's right for us. So we are going to actually, I know Heather is on tonight, and we are going to do just, and if you want to get off, Jessica, you can get off. If not,
my kids are silent, so I am good. When they come through the door, I'll say up.
And if your kids come through the door, be like, hey, that kids. Okay, I'm going to unmute. Hi, Heather. And Heather's actually a Florida girl, too.
Oh, hey, Heather.
Hi, Heather.
Hi, I'm actually trying to get in my car because I
It's
was
okay.
in an appointment.
You're in the warm anyway.
See, she's wearing a jacket because it's cold for us Floridians.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
I put this jacket on in my, I put
originally.
this on in my office, and I said to my husband, I was like, don't think I'm not wearing a sweater when I go out. All right. So Heather, why don't we just break this down? Like, where do you feel like you're kind of a little stuck?
I guess just releasing the things that I have, because I've talked to people like one of the owners of my corporate job, which is a big corporation, that people are unhealthily obese, and he wants to make a change. I talked to him today. I have a colon therapist that she wants to do a special with me because I'm using her. And taking a poll with people on Facebook group, they were interested in gut health. And so I think it just needs to be, like you were talking about today, just getting people involved, like into their level, saying, do you want to know how to read a label? Do you know that it doesn't really matter how many calories are in something? You need to find out how much sodium and processed sugar is in that. So it's just me trying to go through all of the technology and trying to get it out there and posted and released, and I'm just sitting on it and wasting time and money.
I wouldn't even go that far, and I think Jessica can Jessica's launches, I'm not even, this is no joke. They're 5 Instagram posts, 4 Facebook posts. It's so simple. I would say
I'm really cheap. I don't pay for advertising.
And I think also, 1, we overthink. 2, I think also as coaches, we often feel like we have to be so why I can't talk weight loss, or I don't want to talk this because I've been through this really intense journey. And that was one of the things that I realized when I wasn't making money at year 2, is that all these people were coming to me for weight loss. And I was like, wait, if anything, I've had the inability to gain weight issue my whole life. Dive into that. It's not that you want to be I'm a weight loss coach. I would always say to people, I do weight loss very different. I mean, you're in the fitness industry. And so people know you for that, really know you, because your body is stellar fitness industry. I would say right away first to your corporate, look, let's do a corporate weight loss. And just dive in deep to that. Don't even focus on the online first, and just roll out the weight loss program at work, and just build up that confidence, make the money first there. And I mean, Jessica, you work with somebody who you do that with, do you have any suggestions even for the person who I know you do the one-on-one, but do you have any suggestions for her, even working there, just working it out with them financially in her workplace?
Yeah. So if I understand you correctly, you work there now, and they want you to do a program for their employees.
Yeah, he released the idea of it finally at our company-wide meeting. So I made an appointment with him, and he knows that I compete, and he follows me and stuff that I do. So he was open to it, and I met with him, and he's like, oh, thank you so much for coming forward. I think it's more educate the people, but my whole thing about it is, of course, I want to educate these people because it saddens me how obese and unhealthy they are. But, then it also will build my credibility, and also hopefully, create that ripple effect that maybe down the line they themselves or maybe their friends will use me, or go on a shopping tour with me or what have you.
So maybe start with I'm trying to think 30 to 50 range per person.
That's why
So
I was just going to say, I just wrote 50 ahead. Yeah.
oh,
I
man.
like,
We're two in tune. Okay.
You could even do like 100. You could even say to him, same thing, like 30 or 50 ahead, or 150 a talk, or even say like, why don't we just do like 450 for the month, and actually say to him, like, you know what, like, here's the deal. Why don't we do this? It will get you confident. It will build your confidence. Sometimes, I mean, Jessica and I were talking about this earlier, like everyone wants to go high because of course we want to make money, but your confidence and your resume internally will be built by that. If you just keep it, and then you'll be like, you know what? Yeah. Why don't I just optimize this? And then even go after the fitness world of women who are training, even though your thing was gut, correct?
Well, now it's adrenal fatigue because I'm having all these major issues right now, including the hormones because, let's face it, I put myself in menopause all year when I was training.
So this is a big topic that I want to say before we close out. Many of us who are in this health industry, our journey will, I don't want to say never be done, but let's just say close to never be done.
Yeah.
I don't want to have everyone go off here and cry, the whole day or night. But look, I mean, I had to cancel this last night and I didn't feel great. It was a combination of probably about 4 things. And if I didn't have an autoimmune, I probably wouldn't have to. But you know what? I do. And adrenals and all of that, it's a very fine line. We don't have to be, and this is a big mindset thing that sometimes overwhelms actually our business and we don't even realize it. We actually have to get over that. That's not why we came to this. We can help so many people. I can't tell you how many people I helped. And I was like, why can't I get myself? And yet they were like, I mean, even my husband in the thick of his psoriasis, I had women who were worse than him, better. And you know what? Sometimes we are graced with some of these issues and our issues are a little more layered. My issues are very layered with emotional, spiritual, and more combined. And a lot of people aren't like that. Sometimes we have to put some of that stuff to the side and just say, you know what, I'm going to focus on one area, or I'm going to focus on weight and adrenal. And also be honest. Like whenever I was going through my stuff, I would say, damn, is this stuff taking me down? Do not send me any supplement recommendations. Do not send me any like multi-level marketing. I'm good. This is part of it. And it's ownership of that. We don't have to be perfect. I say that all the time. And if we got into this to be perfect, we just then should go work at Walmart in the organic section. Yeah.
And you know what, Heather, and I think, Rachel, I love what you said about, it's funny because people have said to me before, like if I come down with a virus or something, they're like, oh, are you a health coach? And I'm like, I'm a human too, and I have a body, and I like, so I think that people have also on the other side said to me, it's really good to know that you don't eat perfectly all the time and that you had Thanksgiving dinner and that you had that glass of wine, because otherwise you are pretty intimidating. And I'm like, I didn't even realize that sometimes we come off like that. So like the more authentic you are to your story, and I said even on my blog, like I do the same thing Rachel does. If I'm having sometimes I write blog articles to myself and then send them out to people. Like in the summer about drinking more water because I was not drinking any water down here in Florida. Like just we get into these things too. And I think, so I was writing this to my audience and I'm like, the first sentence I was like, this is for me. I'm not doing this. So, exactly. Yeah. Like drink more tea. Like, come on. So I think Heather, if you really keep like when you're having these workshops, whether it's like a specific, topic or not, like weight loss or whatever, put in like, hey, I struggle with adrenal fatigue. Here's some of the things I'm experiencing. I guarantee you people in that audience are going to be like, oh my gosh, I feel like that too. And once they know that you're feeling like that, it's so much easier for people to say like, oh my gosh, I have that same thing. If they think you're standing up there like the perfect nutrition, fitness, whatever, they're not going to come to you as easily with their problems because they're going to feel like, oh no, she doesn't understand.
Yeah, and just, you know, I can't tell you how many times I will never forget. You know, I read a lot of books on, you know, just emotional eating and stuff, and I will never forget reading this one book, and she talked about her face blowing up. She had an allergic reaction. And so when I started having angioedema, which is where you literally wake up and like you look like your whole face has blown up. It's really fun and cute. And I was like, oh my God, I can't leave the house, can't anything, can't do this. And I thought, you know what? But this is my life. Like, what if so I actually posted a picture and said, you know, this is what I've been experiencing since I've had Max. Like, this is like, just like I get like a little few hives here, you know, like that's just, no, you know, that's just part of life. Just part of pulling back the layers of just it. And so then that day I had 4 people say, can I hire you? I've had this, I've dealt with this. I have been on prednisone forever. I have never seen anybody else post about this. The more, and this is just my belief, the more that we share from a place of just authenticity, but we share of a place of not just like, this happens all the time, but like, this happens and this is what I do. The biggest thing with health coaches is we are feelers. We got into this because something was not working. We have to get over ourselves. And it's the hardest thing because that's our deepest work. And that is not about a website, and it's not about a plugin, and it's not about a hosting company, and it's not about a blueprint, and it's not about any of that. The work that I did in the beginning of my business with my coaches has had nothing to do with a business, had nothing to do with a blueprint or any of that. It actually had to do with all of this. It actually had to do with ownership and my message and who I was and what I believed in and my vision for the world and my brand, and not my logo and not the colors on my site. It had to do, and that's why I picked the coaches I picked. And I feel that the biggest mistake that most of us are making is we are holding on to that stuff because that's the easier stuff. Because when I did go to launch my stuff, which was my first detox, which I spent so much time in this office writing it and testing recipes and going to the market and testing again and doing, I launched on Eventbrite because I could not figure out a PayPal. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know any of that, but it didn't stop me because I was so driven with my purpose and my why that did not. So when I bring on people like Jessica or other people who don't stop, and even though like AJ still to this day says, why just manually send it? And people say, that's ridiculous. I think, well, but is it? Because you're not making money. And she is. And she's made money through not having a baby, getting married, having a baby, all of this. And she's launched retreats, done retreats, and scaled up, and has never not done it. And yet everyone else is worried about a fucking course and the next goddamn school and the next thing, and not helped one person. And yet has worried constantly about what the world is going to think of them.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is too. So at first, the more I get all discombobulated and not get anything done about all that stuff, the more further I get away from actually the coaching portion. And I'm like, wow, let me bring myself back. And it's already hard for me to share because I'm a very private person about things and get online. I don't like videoing and taking pictures of myself. I'm just not that person.
Yeah, you were in fitness. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
Your body was in like a string bikini. But
put your picture online. Come on.
I'm gonna just say this so we'll close, because my man is probably in the other room like, where's my honey? Is that your homework, as this is all of our homework, is one, read Pema Chodron, When Things Fall Apart. That's one of my favorite books because I feel like our biggest fear is to show up in life. The second is, and I don't mean read the whole book tonight, I mean read snippets or read, The Universe Has Your Back, Gabby Bernstein, or read something, Eric Thomas, Les Brown, or listen to it, something like that. The second is, don't even go online. What I heard you is literally 2 people, and I helped a person who was working with 3 different business coaches that told him, go evergreen, webinars, go online, do this, yada, 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 bop, 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 bop. And when I started working with her, she said that she worked with a functional medicine. She worked for a functional medicine practitioner. I was like, what? And I said, okay, so can we ask her if you can launch a detox there? She's now not only launching a detox, but she's launching another program with her. And they've formed this amazing relationship, and her clients are happy. Work with this person, build yourself up. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Work locally. You have an amazing personality. Don't stop overthinking, and work the weight loss part and infuse. You're always going to bring in that other part, and get the adrenals healthy. We all are in that place, but work that part first. I keep saying to everyone, God, if you're not going out and spending 1 day a week, I used to say to my husband, okay, take 1 child. I'm going to take 1. And I'm going to go where I would go to Delray and Boca, and I would walk in and be like, hi, my name is, or I would buy things so they would get to know me, and people would get to know me. And nothing would, not everything happens overnight, but I'll tell you, some of the relationships I built, I had moms groups for 3.5 years. I was at one point working at 4 different gyms, and those led to every different client and referrals. And just like Jessica said, I became the mom. I would walk into the fresh market or my husband, and they would say, oh my God, that's Sammy. She's online. Your mom is that, Rachel. And my husband would be like, I'm not even on Facebook. I can't believe that. That's the whole point. So it happens, but guess what? We've got to get out from behind the computer and get over ourselves. All right?
Yeah.
And
So,
Heather, I promise you, once you do that first workshop, like I'm sitting here, you can drive to my house in Jupiter if I'm wrong. I promise you, after you're gonna walk out of that first workshop and be like, I cannot believe I did this earlier. This is amazing. I killed it. And all that fear that you have before, like your drive there, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, what if I say that? After you are going to see what an awesome coach you are. Those people are going to see it, you're going to see it, and then every single thing from then on, every new program you launch, you're just going to feel better and better about it.
Yeah, either you're going to get the names to lead them to something else and email them, or you're going to sell a program, or you're going to lead them to your one-on-one, or you're going to do it paid. Yeah. So, thank you, girl. I'm going to see you in the membership and kick your patootie anyway. And now that I really know, like, the whole story, oh, good. I'm not even going to say it, but anyway, thank you, girl. And I am going to close this out. So thank you, guys. I'm going to say good night. Thank you, Jessica. I love you. I can't wait to see you. And guys, thank you so much. If you have questions about any workshop, doesn't mean you need to buy a program. You just need to have whatever you need to go get out there. Workshop, opt-in freebie, even that can be a paid something, or even free, but you have to get out there, get out from behind the office. And if you don't know what you're doing or who you serve, just ask. There's nothing wrong with asking. And I hope this was helpful. We will see you guys later. Again, thank you so much, and have a great night. Again, my name is Rachel Feldman. You can see everything you need to get for content at yourhealthcoachbiz.com. And if you have any questions, we'll see you later. Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you, Rachel. Good night, guys.
Bye, guys.